Evening, boys.
Evening, Sally.
Welcome to The Chatting, your local pubcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Mark.
And I'm the other Mark. 3 pints, Sally. And what are you having?
I'll have a baby sham.
Cheers. I'll fetch him over.
Evening, boys.
Evening, Rob.
Evening,
How
Robbo.
you doing, Robbie?
How we doing? All right?
Yeah,
All right,
good.
mate, you?
Good weekends?
Yeah, all right, yeah, quiet, but all right, yeah.
Mine
You?
too. No, very quiet weekend.
Yeah,
Me
all
too.
good.
I've been busy catching up on that post office drama/documentary. Have you been watching it, boys?
Oh, I have watched
Post
it.
office thing. I've not heard about
No.
it.
Well,
Give
see,
over.
I didn't know there was anything about a post office.
I thought you were being honest then. I thought, where you been?
No, Mark saw the title Mr. Bates and thought it was something else, so I thought I'm not watching that.
I've watched it.
What a drama.
Mate, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
I remember seeing the adverts for it at Christmas.
Adverts for this... Oh, for the
Mr.
drama.
Bates.
Like a trailer, yeah.
Right, okay.
And thinking, what is that all about? And then seeing this post office. And honestly, at first, I just thought it were a drama, like a fictional drama. And then the more I learned about it, I thought, oh no, this is a true story. And then you watch it, you can't help but get angered by it, can you?
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I remember it in the news when it was kind of happening, and I didn't know anything about it, as in, like, even before I watched this documentary I knew that something had happened, but I didn't really know what, and I knew there was
Really?
an injustice. I knew there was some sort of injustice and some sort of problem, but I didn't know what. And then I watched the drama, and it's like you say, it takes you on an emotional roller coaster.
It does,
because
yeah.
you know, yes, it's fictional based on a true story, but it really happened. These people really went through this stuff, and it angered me, it upset me. It's absolutely frightening that something like this can happen.
Every step of the way, from the phone calls that they were making to, well, were they phoning Fujitsu or were they phoning the post office?
Horizon.
Yeah, were they phoning Horizon? Yeah. And just every time they were, and you're thinking, surely, like, because you know as much as what the programme's telling you at that point, don't you? And you're just saying, surely there's other people, and you can see there's other people. They must be ringing in as well. You must know there's other people.
Well, the thing is with it, I mean, I've been following this since it sort of originally from about 2010.
Have you really?
Yeah.
He's been watching it since the Penny Black was out.
Actually, I need to look to see if I've got some of them, you know. But yeah, I'd sort of been watching it when the story first broke in about 2010, and then there were a panorama documentary in 2015, and I watched that. And even then, I was thinking, why is nobody sort of doing anything about this? You know, because you've got to remember, when you watch the drama and in real life, that this system that came in, they were all told that they're the only one. And you think, well, because there were no internet really. It were early days of internet, so they couldn't go on internet and share the experience. Hence why they had that meeting in that sort of community centre type thing. But I mean, it's been going on for so long, and and even all these years, I'm like, why has nothing been happening about it? And then, of course, this drama on ITV, and like Kirk said, it does take you on this emotional roller coaster. You know, it made me a bit tearful in parts of it.
It made me tearful, and afterwards, when I've watched it afterwards, I think the underlying emotion that I feel is disbelief and anger, because what I'm also angry about is, why should it take, especially in this day and age, it's about why should it take something to be dramatised and put on TV for something to happen about it? You know, I believe, I don't know obviously all the facts and numbers and stuff like that. I can only go off what I'm hearing now and what I'm hearing, you know, in the news and stuff now, is that it seems like they're getting some traction now. It seems like they're getting some traction on things that are going to happen. You know, the Prime Minister's involved and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And you kind of go, you know, people have lost their lives. People have been to prison. Do you know what I mean? Why is it taking an ITV drama to get this sorted?
And an election year.
And an election
Put my
year.
teeth in.
Absolutely.
It's hard to say it. An election.
And an election.
I mean, have you heard the story of this latest post office scandal that's going around with stamps?
What?
So there's been investigation. It's been going on for a while, but post office are selling counterfeit stamps directly themselves.
Really?
Now, I don't think they are aware that they're selling them. I don't think they purposely go in, get Dave in. He's got some dodgy stamps.
Photocopying stamps.
But obviously, I think BBC or somebody's done an investigation on them, and they're selling counterfeit stamps.
How do you even know that it's counterfeit? And how do you even know to begin to start investigating that a stamp might be a photocopy?
I mean, as if they need more trouble on top of what's happening.
You know, it's someone's licked that stamp and gone, That's not.
That
That
tastes
tastes right.
That's Poundland
taste
TV.
right.
That's not Royal
Hang
Mail
on,
quality
hang on.
glue.
Let me just ask you this, Rob. When was the last time you used a stamp? Why are you licking stamps?
Don't you lick them?
Don't you look them anymore?
No, they're sticky.
Don't they fall off?
Mate,
See, you're showing your
honestly,
ages, aren't you?
honestly, I don't think I've put a stamp on a letter for 15, 18 years.
No, it makes someone else pay for it on the other end.
Yeah.
No, they're sticky now, and they've got
Yeah.
barcodes on them as well. Have you not seen the new ones?
No.
They've got barcodes on them.
Mark's clearly Mr.
He's still,
Postman.
he's still
Listen,
sending
I know.
letters.
Yeah.
He prints his emails off and posts them.
He's clearly.
Mark's one of them that's still queuing outside post office every Tuesday or something like that, waiting for it to open.
Yeah.
He's selling all his clothes on Etsy.
Anyway, talking about post office, I went the other day because we've won on the lottery. You know the numbers we put on?
Really?
Did?
You're joking?
No.
Is this it then? Sayonara.
Is that it? Last episode?
You can't wait till I tell you how much we've won.
So serious. So for the listeners that haven't
benefit
heard,
of the tape.
for the benefit of the tape, we last week we decided that we was talking about the lottery, and we decided that we was going to put on some lottery numbers between us, which we picked, and you're telling me we've already won. Week
We've
one.
won. We put those numbers we selected. We put them on. Obviously, it cost us £2.50, and we won. And we've won £2.50.
Right, that's
think
it.
that's
I'm quitting my job
remarkable.
tomorrow. Oh. Can I ask what numbers?
What numbers were they?
Yeah.
Kurt, I think, remembers the numbers better.
Did we win £2.50 or did you forget to put it on? And we've still got the £2.50.
No, you took it to me. I absolutely put the numbers on, and we
We
won
don't know which
£2.50.
ones they were that won it.
Well, I do if I looked in my account. But
I mean, he says it's £2.50, but that's a really nice Rolex you're wearing, Mark.
Gold-plated microphone.
That is
No, but
Actually, he has
fantastic.
got a gold-plated microphone, hasn't he?
I think that's quite good for the first win.
I think that's brilliant. The fact that we did an episode about it and then put a ticket on and we've won straight away.
Absolutely.
I'd like it to be slightly more than £2.50.
Yeah,
if I'm
I'll
honest.
work on it.
Yeah, let's work on it. Let's keep playing it. That's all we can do.
Yeah. Mark, have you had a good weekend, mate?
Yeah, it's busy really, but I have got to say something though, because on Sunday my daughter plays rugby, and I don't know if you know the area, and you know whether you're listening and you know the area or not, but you might have the same thing going off where you are. They've decided, and I don't know if it's come from central government or whether it's just a local council idea, they've decided to put cycle lanes into the footway. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got no problem with something like this. However,
careful having a go at the cyclists.
I'm not. Well, I will be a little bit. However, they've widened the footpath by about another metre and a half. So this footpath now is probably 3 or 4 metres wide. It's massive. You could drive a car down it. You can barely get 2 cars up and down the road.
Okay.
We were driving back from the rugby ground. She'd finished the game and everything. We were driving down, massive footpath with cycle lane down the middle of it. 2 cyclists riding up the road, side by side. There's a car stuck behind me, can't overtake because I'm coming down on my side of the road.
Yep.
And it's like, what's going off?
So they weren't so they weren't using it. The cycle thing was there, but they weren't using it. They were on the road.
And they were, 2 abreast, so they were taking up all of whatever lane there was for the cars behind them. They were stuck in traffic that shouldn't exist because the cars could have actually undertaken the bikes, gone in the cycle lane, and driven up the 4 metre wide footpath, which is wider than the road.
Thought you were going to swear there.
And then you get to the top of the road, and it's like a chicane. There's like 90-degree bends and stuff that you have to take because have you seen it?
I'm guessing this is at Rotherham Rugby Club.
Yeah, around Wellgate.
I went
and all
past it
around there.
today.
It's absolutely
I
mind-boggling.
literally drove, because I've not been able to go down there for ages, because if you go, it's been closed, hasn't it?
Yeah, because they've been
doing
widening
it.
footpaths
Yeah.
by 20 metres.
Yeah, and it's took them 8 months to do. And I went down today on way to the dentist, and I just couldn't fathom it when I got down to the bottom. I'm like, oh, this is just an atrocity.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely awful.
It's
isn't
insane. And then I mean, it's like a bobsled track for cars.
Do you know the best? What gets me most is that it only goes so far, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then it ends.
And then cyclists have to get
Cyclists,
off.
yeah.
Or
Yeah,
do
what's
whatever.
the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? It's just a vanity project.
It's literally
really.
like
That's all it's
And
for.
then what'll happen is 18 months, and then there'll be like 2 or 3 cyclists have used it once, and then they'll dig it all back up and then widen it again. Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing a carriageway widening.
Yeah. Well, they'll say it
Job is
didn't
just
work.
like-
We've trialled it and it didn't work. That trial that cost however many thousands.
Yeah, which I understand. And by the way, I completely understand your frustration. But what is the answer? I saw something on X, formerly known as Twitter, the other day about how obviously normal roads, I'm not talking about motorways, but normal roads have stayed the same size, but cars over the years have got bigger. So cars have generally
Yep.
got bigger.
Yep.
So if cars are getting bigger, the roads are the same size, there's more cars on the road, what are cyclists supposed to do? What is the answer? Because if the answer
there were
isn't...
more room for him on the road where as it was, and I don't
Yeah.
think anybody would have probably minded the fact that they've installed these cycle lanes. Well, granted, they're the only two cyclists I've seen anywhere near it, and they weren't on it. I know, 'cause when I first saw, I was like, who's going to go down that? I'm like, nobody can afford a bike. Everyone's skint, and they've got these do you know? Even bikes. There's a bike shop opposite that's closing down. Honestly,
It is the bike shop just out ill, isn't
absolutely,
it?
it's closing down. He's been waiting probably 40 years. He's been selling push bikes. He was probably selling penny farthings when they were out. And then all of a sudden, council decided to install cycle paths, and he's shutting down. Do you know what I mean? He just couldn't write it.
What is the I'm guessing it's got to be safety related, because I know you're saying that cars are getting wider, but they just
Let's narrow the roads
sit back and
down a
hold
bit.
back a bit. Like going down that hill, they can go as fast as their car can because it's 30 mile an hour. So they could quite easily freewheel at the speed of the car should be driving down that road. And you just think they wouldn't hold anyone up. I know that's not the only road; they're all over the place, but I genuinely can't see the point of them at all.
Well, you answered it.
What
in
cycle
your-
lanes you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You answered it in your first comment. It's safety.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, they would be safer on the cycle path than on the road.
Vanity and ticking boxes.
Yes.
Rotherham
Yeah.
Borough Council for a greener Britain. We've done this. We've ticked this box. We've ticked
Yeah.
that box. It's not functional, but it doesn't matter because we've ticked the box. And they'll put it on. You know, the council put it in their election papers and whatever else, and the
Yeah.
promotion
Yeah.
materials
Exactly.
said that they've done this, that, and the other. And who's it benefited?
Do you know what does make me laugh though? As we're on to the fact of safety and bikes, it's not, they don't deem it safe that they can ride on the road, so they're creating them cycle paths, but it's not illegal to cycle without a helmet on. I find that mind-boggling. That it's not illegal, or there's no enforcement to stop people that ride the bike with no helmet on. How is that a thing?
Is there not?
No.
I didn't know that.
No.
I thought it were a legal requirement that you needed to wear a helmet if you were
I
riding
mean,
a bike on the
do you know
road.
what? I'm saying this now, and I ain't read highway code in years.
He's off.
Backtracking.
Off.
Should I say
But
backpedaling?
I might need to research that.
Well, there's not many cyclists wear helmets, really.
No, well, I'm going to say you still see loads of
I
people
see
without
loads of
helmets.
helmets on.
Go on, say it.
All of them.
I couldn't remember the last time I saw a cyclist without a helmet, if you want me to be honest.
Really?
You see them all over
Oh, I
without
see them all the
helmets.
time. Yeah, see
I'm
them
going to have
quite
to
often.
apologise. I didn't really want us to start a conversation about cyclists. I mean, come on.
Wait, listen, I'm not having to go at the cyclist. I'm having to. I
We're
was
actually
under the,
we're still talking about them.
yeah, but now I feel like I need to Google the fact that I might be wrong about the helmets.
Well, while
somebody will write it.
you're googling that, Rob, if it's one thing that you have brought me on to, though, Mark, is the whole road system and traffic in general, because as you know, I travel a lot for work, so I
Do
cover
you?
about believe it or not. So
I like you say it as if you don't know.
All he talks about how many miles he's doing every day.
So I cover near on 1,000 miles a week, and I don't know where all this ends regarding traffic and stuff like that, because it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
There's more and more roadworks. There's more and more. It's just mental, and I don't know where it's going to end. What's your thoughts on the smart motorways?
My thoughts are, and it's going to sound quite controversial because a lot of people oppose them, and I suppose from the point of view of them not having hard shoulders in, then perhaps not the best idea.
Can I just jump in 1 second just to ask something, because I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this. A smart motorway isn't just the getting rid of the hard shoulder, is it? It's the whole.
Well, no, but they need the smart motorway for it to function in such a way.
So the lane's still there and it's used as a lane.
Yeah.
So you've removed the hard shoulder, but for that to work,
Yeah.
it has to be monitored, so it can be used for emergencies if needed.
But my understanding is that it doesn't just. It's not just for that purpose, is it? It's to manage the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it measures how much traffic's on the road.
Which is what I was going to come to then.
Okay.
So I think smart motorways only work if you've got a brain.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as what really grinds my gears, and you see it. The lights come up, and they're not enforceable. The speed restrictions. It's an advisory speed restriction. If you cause an accident while it's on,
you're incorrect. You're incorrect there.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
Okay.
If it's not in red,
it is in red. It's in a red
well,
circle.
the ones that aren't in red,
I'm confused.
You can get them when they're not in red, and it's an advisory. And if you have an accident while it's on, you can get done for dangerous driving or driving with undue care and attention because you've not followed the guidance, and it's guidance, not a restriction.
I'm still confused.
But the thing is, that you've got gantries that have only got speed cameras on in certain locations.
Yeah.
So you'll get some people who they'll see the sign in front of them, 100 yards in front, whatever, 50, 40, whatever. They slow down. And you get the guys, people see it, they're just flying past at 70, 80 mile an hour, and you're like, what are you doing? Just because it's not a speed camera, doesn't mean carry on, racing. The idea is they're trying to restrict the traffic so that you're not going to hit a traffic jam further up. Reduce the flow, and everyone keeps moving. Yeah. These people who go flying past, thinking, I'm not bothered about it, they're causing the problem. Yeah. And I don't get. They're trying to get around the problem, but they are the problem.
Yeah. Listen. I'm 100% in agreement with you that a smart motorway works when people use it. That's it. And is that the smart motorway's fault that people don't use it? I don't know.
No,
but I will say, Mark, and I don't know. I've obviously. Sorry, but I spend a lot of time on motorways. I've never ever seen a speed limit on one of them gantries that's on a smart motorway that's not got a red circle around it. Ever.
I'm a bit confused. So let me get this right. So, Mark, you're saying that depending on how this figure, say it's 40, 50, depending if it's in a circle or the colour, will depend if it's enforceable or not.
You can get different sizes. Have you seen the ones on the central reservation with this?
Yeah, so they're in orange and they've got orange lights, they're guidance. But that's
right.
nothing to do with the smart motorway.
No.
See, right. I thought they were installed at the same time.
No,
right. No, they're really like from 80s, I think. 80s, 90s. Yeah,
you've been driving a lot longer than I have.
I knew that they were guidance, but I knew that only the ones on the gantry.
What would make smart motorways work better, I think, is when those restrictions came up, if there was a speed camera on every gantry. And then everybody followed it, and then when because they're not there to slow you down for the sake of it. They're there to slow people down so that you don't cause more traffic up in the next mile or two.
If they did that, Mark, what would be the complaint then? It would be the complaint that, it's just a money making scheme.
Absolutely. And I do think in certain places that there is a bit of a money making.
Well, I think I'm going to go against the grain here because I don't like smart motorways. Full stop. I've heard what you're both saying, and yes, you are right. If people's got brains, but at the end of the day, people haven't got brains. We should have hard shoulders. End off. I think they should get rid of all smart motorways and bring hard shoulders back.
Yeah, but that's only part of it.
But this is what I'm saying as well. Fundamentally, they go, smart motorways have removed hard shoulders. They haven't. What they've done is they've taken a lane that's not used 80-90% of the time and put it in use to be able to help control the flow of traffic and congestion. And then if it needs to be used as a hard shoulder, it turns back into a hard shoulder. So
the problem is it's not away from the normal traffic, so people who are already using it don't see the sign, don't see the red X, and smash into a car.
The safety implications of not having a hard shoulder, I think, is proven. I get what you're saying, Kirk, but the safety implications, they haven't got. In order for that to work, they would have to have a signpost every 5 to 10 metres in order for it to be enough to stop someone to slow them down in time. So I don't think...
No, they would literally just have to turn off use. You can't go in that lane unless you're not moving. That'd be the only way to get around that.
The thing is with the smart motorways, I mean, you're right, I agree, I hear what you're saying, Kurt, but we know with smart motorways, because they're all the reports they've done it, they're not managed correctly. So like that incident that happened in Sheffield with those two guys, it happened near Medwall.
Yeah.
When that happened, right, at the time they said that it wasn't managed correctly. Mm-hmm. So, and since then, they've still admitted that they've still not managing them as they should be.
Yeah, but I think there's always going to be isolated events, just like there was always isolated events with when people broke down on the hard shoulder.
But they said it's not isolated. They said it's these smart motorways. It's very common for them not to be monitored correctly. Even to this day, they still reporting that they're not monitored correctly.
Yeah, I think I have seen somewhere where they say there's a delay between somebody breaking down and somebody spotting them, putting the red X up and saying, "Hang on a second, we've got a breakdown here."
I mean, I'm right in thinking they've reversed it now anyway. Aren't they? They're all going back as they were.
No, they're putting in safe stop areas. So I think they're going to be like
lay-bys, aren't they?
But they're not going to do any more. They've put an alt on them.
But if it's one thing that's for sure, and again, it really does annoy me and get on the go, that when we talk about, smart motorways, and any day we can talk all day long about whether the hard shoulder, not the hard shoulder, whether they're monitored correctly and whether they're not, and that's for them to investigate. But the biggest problem is the fact that the people on the road do not listen to it or don't drive properly.
Yeah.
I see it every day, and the biggest problem is not every person, a lot of people driving on the roads, they're only interested in one thing: themselves.
Yeah.
Themselves, and how fast they can get from A to B. Or, I was driving here today, and I was driving in a 50 mile an hour zone because the road works. I was on a motorway, and a van came up my backside, flashing his lights, on my ass. I'm doing 50 mile an hour. We're in a 50 mile an hour zone, right?
Yeah.
Why have you got to ride my bumper and flash your lights as though I'm doing something wrong?
Yeah, when he's breaking the law.
Can I just say something? In an earlier episode, we were talking about society as a whole, and I said I don't think society's got any better.
Yeah.
That's one of my examples that I was trying to think of where I don't think society's got better. When back in the day sort of thing, I think people were more respectful, particularly if you're driving, and that's a good example. You're right.
Yeah.
People driving around.
You wouldn't have it in a supermarket, though. If you were stood queuing at Asda, or you were walking, you wouldn't have somebody ramming their trolley into your back.
No.
No.
I know sometimes you might accidentally catch somebody, but you're in that car. They're in their own bubble.
People have a
they're
totally
invincible.
different
They're in a
mentality.
metal box. Yeah, they think they're driving a Sherman tank or whatever, and they're bulletproof and whatever else, and it just
if you're walking on pavement, if somebody overtakes you, he's overtaking me. I need to.
Yeah.
It makes no difference.
flagging him off.
You don't.
Well, I think
they're
it's
going
'cause
faster than me. I need to catch them up. But
You're in
it
a
doesn't-
lane, aren't you, at the end of the day? So you can't freely just drive wherever you want to let them go past, and it don't work like that, does it? But it does, I agree, it really does get on your nerves when you know that you're not breaking the law. And you might be, this is what gets me. When you've moved into the right-hand lane to overtake someone, and you're overtaking, I don't know, you're on a 70 mile an hour road, and you're overtaking at 72 mile an hour, right? But someone else will come up next to you, as you are, behind you, and they can clearly see that you are literally overtaking a car, and they're flashing the lights, and you think, mate, just let me get past them, and I'll move out your way. I'm not going to stay in this lane. I'm not. Well, we all have moments. I would love to say I'm not a middle lane driver. I'm not. But we all have those moments where you've gone into autopilot, and then you realise and go, I'm in middle lane. I could go in left-hand lane here. Normally at night, don't know why that is. That I normally find I end up doing that when I'm driving a long journey at night, and I end up at middle lane for no
bit
reason.
more of a safety.
Well, there's probably
buffer
nobody
for me.
around.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Is it an honest question? Do any of you, between us four,
No one else is listening.
Yeah, there's nobody in pub.
do you speed?
Yes.
Yes. Do I speed? Yes. Do I speed regularly? Especially over the past 3 years, so when I've been doing some miles. No, I don't, because I've realised over time that extra 10 mile an hour that I might travel at 80 instead of 70 actually isn't worth the stress.
No.
All right, having this conversation, then one of us has an accident after this goes out, won't we?
Yeah.
I think you would have been better off saying, show me somebody who doesn't speed. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that doesn't speed.
I've had to go to one of these speed awareness courses.
Yeah.
And that does highlight in that course. Has anyone else been on one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we all speed.
Right. So you all know then that it does highlight the difference in if you travel at X speed versus this speed, you'll get to your destination in like 2 seconds quicker.
Yeah.
And the distance is quite a large distance, and you think, wow, when you put it like that, you think there's no point.
I'd just like to throw in that, just for the benefit of the tape, on that basis, you think, well, why do police cars and ambulances speed? Because they're not going to get there any faster. Because that's a jokey point I'm making there.
Yeah.
By the way,
I know,
because they should.
I think if you're doing double the speed limit, you probably
That's the difference.
Do you think to some degree it's hardwired in us to not want to do what we're told? Because
there's
go
an
on,
element
we
to
can
that
say.
As a very quick answer, Rob, I think it's hardwired in us to think that we know better.
You might be right, because I know that if I get on, I'm going to use the motorway because it's easier for me to explain. When you get on the motorway, it's in my head, 74 mile an hour is fine. Why is it? But
It's a strange
and I'm
number.
being really
74.
honest when I say it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll sit in cruise control and I'll end up finding I've
He's
just
worked
notched
out
it
his
up a-
bias on his speed.
Bias. So I was just sat here thinking exactly the same.
He knows his
it's
speed,
4 mile an hour out.
I just notch it up a little bit, and it just feels more comfortable at that speed. And you think, well, you don't need to do that. I mean, Gemma reminds me every time she's in the car that I don't need to be doing that. But sometimes it's just because you just get someone a little bit slower and you just want to go past them, so it's just easier to set that speed, and you don't feel like you're really breaking the law. But it is one of them things, and sometimes I have to rain check myself and say, just notch it down. You don't need to be doing even 74. And obviously, when you're watching people flying past you at 80, 85, 90, you think, wow, I thought I would breaking the law. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that I've had to do over time, though, is relax more. As in, like, I used to be really bad for road rage.
Right.
And when someone did cut me up or get on my bumper, although it still annoys me, obviously, I've had to learn to let it go. I've had to learn to let it go, because otherwise it would just ruin my entire day. You know, but someone's cut me up, or someone's not let me out, or someone's not said thank you, or someone decides to be flagging me off as they're going past me or whatever, and I've done nothing wrong. It used to wind me up and spoil my entire day. But I've got to be honest, one person that hasn't learned that yet is Mark.
Me?
Other one.
Well, no, actually. I actually play up to you, to be honest, because it's only when you're on phone.
All right, okay.
But drivers, there's some numpties on the road in there. There's some numpties. But however, what I will say is, most people that suffer with road rage, that speed, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the red mist descends, they're speeding, they're going fast, then they can't get past somebody, and it just further cements the situation that they're in. I like you, take a relaxed approach now and just think, do you know what? Let them flash. Let them do what they want.
Yeah.
You know what?
If they want to smash their car up, their van up, whatever, it's on them.
Yeah. I have for years and years. I'm such a relaxed driver in that nothing really bothers me. I've never really let it bother me either. Anybody coming up, obviously, like when they come up behind you, yeah, all right, I'll be like, what are you doing, mate? I'll move out your way when I can, and then I'll move out the way, and they go past, and you sometimes you want to look, 'cause you want to give them the eye, but you know you're going to get a finger or whatever, and you think whatever. But 9 times out of 10, even if people cut me up or they do anything, I haven't even got the patience to bit me on, or even I can't be bothered. I just think, you're not worth my time. You're not even worth me moving my hand from the steering wheel on to on. I can't be bothered. I just let it ride. I'm normally too busy singing in my car anyway.
Singing.
You know what I mean?
I'm singing. I'm driving my car and I'm singing.
I imagine you're quite relaxed, Mark.
Yeah, I can't be. Yeah. I mean, there's
When he leaves the house.
I mean, there's moments, isn't there? I mean, we all have moments. I mean, but like Kirk said, there's always somebody around you. You know, it don't matter if you're doing 13 or 30, 14 or 40. There's always somebody who wants to get past you. There's always somebody who wants to go faster. You let it go and stuff. It is annoying where other drivers make mistakes, like they'll pull out of a junction in front of you somewhere. And it's not your mistake at all, but yet they'll make it clear to you that it's your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times? I mean, I can't even remember last time another driver's done something in the wrong
And apologised.
and they've got, I'm sorry, or they've mouthed it through windows and put their hands up. It's very rare that you see that,
Yeah.
because it's just a human nature to go on defence and go, what are you doing? What am I doing? You've pulled out in front of me or whatever. And again, that society's just changed, and it's awful.
I'll tell you what, on that note, something that and it really shook me up. We're going back a few months now. It might even be over a year. And I were working in Bradford, and I came off this big roundabout in Bradford, and I was just coming up, and I know this particular road, it filters off to the left, and then you carry on round, and then it filters off again just after. They're not like straight turns, but that sort of filter. And this one lane that I'm in filters round to a pedestrian crossing, to a zebra crossing. So obviously, slow down, check for pedestrians, because obviously if anyone approaching, you're going to let them cross. Nothing coming, or nobody approaching. So, and I was probably 20 mile an hour I were doing at this point. This electric scooter with a school kid on it shot out of nowhere, and honestly, nearly went straight up my bonnet, and I was like, what? Wait. Must have been doing about 30 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Like crossing road, and I was like, he was faster than me. On his school, kid on his way to school. Absolutely.
Don't even get me started about
I didn't
scooters.
realise how fast they
They
were.
are rapid, aren't they?
I only thought they did about 5 or 6 mile an hour. This
Well,
thing were flying.
They're meant to be capped, but I've heard loads of people saying they're so easy to take the restriction off. I mean, I've not got one. I've
get
no
one.
idea. how easy-
Well, first of all, electric scooters they're not legal. They shouldn't even be on roads. But yet, police cars, you see them driving past them, they should be doing something about it because they shouldn't be they shouldn't even be on the public.
Shoot them on
path.
sight.
I mean,
I guess that's probably half the issue is how many there are out there.
That
Where
is,
do they-
listen, I'm not having a go at police because they've got their hands full. I mean that's a whole episode about the police and what they should be doing. Again, not having a go at it. It's just that we live in a world where but police sizes have got smaller, yet problems in worlds have got bigger. Like internet itself. I mean, they should have a whole department just for police dealing with internet. For everything from fraud to scams and stuff. But e-scooters themselves, electric scooters, they should only be on private land, but you see them all over the place.
Yeah.
And they're whizzing around like Mark says, and no insurance, no tax, no
And
MOT,
again,
nothing.
no helmet.
No helmet.
Imagine 12-year-old on phone to Hastings. Hello.
I mean, I tell you what I think with insurance, and I don't think I've brought this up in a podcast before, but I think, and I know this is, bear with me on this, but I think that everybody should have insurance. Right? Now, what I mean by that, I know you're all going, what would you mean? But I don't mean if you're on a scooter, in a car, you should have insurance.
Like a personal insurance.
Public liability insurance.
Public liability insurance. And now I know you're all going,
Christ, could you imagine how much my cover would be?
Yeah, yours would be high. But I think everybody should have insurance. Just for, I mean...
What, and do you think that that personal insurance then covers you for everything? So then you don't need car insurance on top or travel insurance on top? That your personal insurance covers you for... That's it for you.
And then perhaps you add the other things on if you need extra things.
I mean, obviously, I've not given a lot of thought, but I don't think you just have like one insurance and this covers you everything, because that's going straight in. Like, trial something with just a personal insurance, like for just walking around, you trip over and you break something, or you're in a shop and you break something, or you're on.
I'd have to ring up on that Thursday once a month. Yeah, hello, do you want to change my policy? I'm going into the kitchen. That's your policy doubled right there.
Can you imagine though if everyone had to have insurance? I mean, it'd be extortionate. Because
I don't think it'd be pennies for what you.
Well, yeah, you think it would, but then after the first year, when everyone had put claims in, for
Everyone's
tripping over a
trying to fleece
curve
the system.
and a cracking pavement, and
Well, obviously,
I mean, they're doing
I know
that
you
anyway,
need to
aren't
get a
they?
bit of thought, but you think about insurance. I think it'd be a good idea because, like you said, on a cyclist, for example, they could go past any of our cars, scratch outside the car, and what do you do about it?
I do agree. I do think I do. There's like someone was walking down the street and crossing the road. That's just a person moving from A to B. But I do think if you're on the road and you are cycling and stuff, I think you probably should have some form of insurance. I mean, I guess people with very expensive bikes probably do insure the bike, but they probably won't.
I mean, I think
when you get an insurance, you're not necessarily covering your vehicle. You're covering the next person that you might damage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's too top heavy. It's too top heavy towards a car driver. Do you think we share the road with nowadays? Car driver, there's cyclists, there's e-bikes, there's scooters, the mobility scooters, the cyclists. None of them's got insurance. There's only yours.
But I suppose that brings you full circle back to what you were saying, though. How many of them things supposed to be on the road? Do you get what I mean? So, like, yes, these are all things using the road or using the public network, but how many of them should be on there?
Well, exactly. Well, what I didn't know, I only knew to recently, is mobility scooters. They're legal on road.
Yeah.
But e-scooters aren't. I mean, it needs a complete shake-up.
I've got a
the
question
whole
for you.
system. So,
What are you all like with backseat drivers? Or they're not always sat in your back seat. Sometimes they're sat in the passenger seat.
Careful, Rob.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't keep name checking your wife.
Careful, Rob.
well, this
I'm
is an
just
easy one
saying.
for me.
Why can't I speed without you complaining, Gemma?
I'm only asking because I'm intrigued as to how other people deal with it, or are with. What are you like?
Well, I can answer this. I very rarely drive with anybody with me. And when they do, they never They never bother me. So
You sound like a serial killer.
I'm just driving around at midnight.
on my own.
There's somebody in the boot.
with the lights switched off. No, and when I do, they never say anything. So it's a non-starter for me. So no issues.
And unfortunately, Rob, I've got to answer the same. That fundamentally, if I'm driving, I'm driving. That's it. Nobody has an opinion.
I thought you were going to say, I also drive on my own. Fundamentally, that's it.
That's it. If I'm driving, I'm driving, and vice versa. If I'm in the passenger seat and my other half's driving, then she's driving. It's nothing to do with me how she's driving.
But what if they did say, oh, you know, watch your speed or watch. Look, there's a lorry there in front of you or whatever.
Yeah.
How would you react to that?
Would you like to drive?
Okay, Mark.
Yeah, something like that, I suppose.
Is that exactly how you'd respond to it?
Yeah, something to that effect.
Okay.
You're
sat there thinking,
who's driving here,
I
me
need
or
to-
you?
Yeah, exactly.
I need
can
to-
always pull over and we can swap seats if that's what you really want.
I need to.
Oh, there's a lorry there. Yeah. Oh, that great big 40-foot thing. Yeah, I've already seen it.
Or maybe, Rob, maybe we're just better drivers than you. So maybe we don't need to be checked.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, on that note,
I mean, and I'm saying it not to call. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? I'm not calling Gemma out. It's just because I
Getting a lot of earache when I'm driving and I can't do with it.
Well, no, because I just want.
Is this like counselling, Rob?
No,
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
let it go.
I'm just saying it's like
I can't even go fast anymore.
I can't even break the law.
No, it's not like that. What I mean is,
You know, I'm fed up of doing things wrong
What you
and
mean
someone
is-
telling me that it's wrong.
no.
You want to buy her a straw hat and put flowers in it?
What I'm getting at is that I don't. I accept the fact that I'm being told what to do, or not what to do, but just be careful of this, be careful of that. And I don't blame her for doing it.
Knowing
but
you,
I'm
I
just
don't
not
either.
very good at. I'm just not very good at. I can handle it for so long, and then I just get I get
10
frustrated
minutes.
by it, and I'm like, I have to bite my tongue, and then I'll be like, look, it's pretty much what you said.
So-
I don't directly say, well, you can drive if you
But it's
want.
getting you back up.
I've lost my head a few times, but again, not in a bad way.
Well,
Just
I'm really happy that we've been able to give you this private
Counselling.
counselling session
session.
that you can be open and honest with, that nobody else knows about, that you can really be honest about.
So-
I'm glad we can give you that.
So next time, Kurt, when you're driving along and there's a car or something up your back end flashing because he's trying to get home, it's Rob. He's lost his head. He's trying to get home as quick as possible so he can get out of the car.
Oh, he's driving on his
Who's
own,
that
so he's
flashing behind me?
He's making the most of it. Just while we're talking about traffic and stuff like that, I just think it's a good question just to throw out there. So, obviously, roads are getting busier. They're getting, more congested, more traffic. I feel as though I spend half my life sat in traffic. So, what do we think about things like the train strikes and stuff like that? Then, because obviously that doesn't help. When there's train strikes, and that means more people, more people on the road and stuff like that, or. Should trains be more affordable, therefore less traffic? What do we think about?
I don't think I really know the answer to that question, but I do know how frustrating it is to be on the other end of the train strikes. I'm sure many of us are. I don't commute on the train, but I think we've had 2 now trips down to London. Again, oh, woe is me, a holiday's got affected, but going down to London for a weekend, and you might have had it booked for 6 months, and it literally, the week it comes to it, and you go, oh, your train's not on now. And you've got to find alternative transport and stuff. It is very, very frustrating, but I don't really understand a lot of what's going on as to why they are the train strikes. If any of you do know, then I'd
Well,
like to.
I want to rewind a little bit from that and just start off with public transport in general. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
It don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, they said obviously trains work for commuters going to places like London and so on. They live outside and it's easy for them to get in and out. There's no parking and whatever else. But they pay a fortune for it.
Yeah.
And then you have to stand up. You pay a fortune to stand up to travel, and it's like it's the whole system. My daughter goes for a school bus. It either doesn't turn up, or it's late, or it breaks down on almost a daily basis. You go for a train, it's late, or you get on it and you're just squashed in, and it's just... There's no... I'd love to use public transport. Maybe not buses, but but trains. I wouldn't like a train journey. Do you know what I mean?
I love a train journey.
You know,
Yeah.
you get on.
Me too.
You're hoping it's going to be relatively, quiet, or certainly somewhere to sit and go somewhere. And stress-free, you haven't got anyone flashing behind you, whatever. You can have a couple of pints if you're going out for a day or whatever.
There's a few flashes on trains. Just...
Well, yeah, but they're not aimed at you. Well, there might be some flashes on trains. I suppose it depends how many pints they've had. But you know what I mean?
And where's this stem from? Is it because there's too many people trying to use these services?
No, I just don't think there are enough of them. I think the whole infrastructure's knackered. They've privatised it all, and these companies are just rinsing it. I think they're just taking as much money out of it as they can, and they're not reinvesting. But
it's strange, isn't it? Because the fact that they're going on strike for reasons about conductors and staffing levels and pay and stuff like that, which is all fine. Everyone you've got the right to strike. That's absolutely fine. But what's interesting is that to fix their problems, if you like, or to help fix their problems, would mean that the company's generating more revenue. But yet, what's happening is it's damaging people's trust. So literally the other day, Rob, I was talking to your wife about when we're going on holiday, because I'll take me and your wife are going on holiday.
Fantastic.
We were talking about how we're going to get down to Southampton, and I said, well, what about the train? And she came back to me straight away saying, problem is I don't trust that by the time we get there that there won't be a train strike.
Yeah.
So that's a group of us that are willing to pay money to book on a train to travel down to Southampton and back. Willing to do that and pay that money, but we're not going to, just because we don't trust that they're going to be running because of the strikes.
Yeah.
The strikes that technically could be solved if they earn more revenue, but they're earning less revenue because people are losing, trust in them.
I mean, it's only the train strikers, train strikers, the train drivers now. All the other people, so all the guards people, the train, the
Guards people?
the guards.
Oh,
I can't talk.
God, getting worse.
You got an armed
Start that bit again.
So the guards
Group
and
4
the
railways.
train staff, they've all sorted all their disputes out.
Right.
So it's only the train drivers now that are
You're
sticking
like
it
our
all out.
political correspondent,
Yeah,
aren't you?
well, I watch the news a lot.
It's got no
So
else
it's
to
only
do.
the train drivers now that are sitting it out. So that's them that's causing the problems. Which and they're the ones that I've got the least. All the other people I were okay with. I were like, okay, they're striking out, but the train drivers, I mean, average pay 60,000, and they only work 4 days.
So what's
a week.
what? Why do they want more then? What?
Well, it is pay and condition. It's not just pay; it's the conditions as well. But they just don't think they're paid enough for what they do. They
Right.
just press buttons sitting on a train.
It is a lot of responsibility, though. I think
It is driving the buses, but they're not paid the same amount.
Well,
Well,
there's a little bit of a difference between driving a bus and driving a train. For starters, the amount of people that you're responsible for.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that they're paid enough or not paid enough. What I'm saying is, I think it's dangerous to judge a profession that we've never done.
I was going to say, I literally sat here thinking I can't make comment on this because I don't know what they do. Obviously, I know they drive a train,
Well, they get in
but
the
there'll be
train
a lot
and
more
they
to
press the
their
button.
job that we don't know how much liability is on them and how much control they have over that train. I'm sure they have all the control, but yeah, there's just a lot to it that I think I don't really know what they do and how they do it, and therefore I can't comment as to whether they're getting paid the right amount of money or not.
Well, I think they're getting paid too much, and I think they. I think they striking, and they shouldn't be striking. So.
Time at the bar, please.
On that note, my taxi's here.
Absolutely, time to go.
I'm going to get 116 home.
Oh, 116, happy days.
Little
All
nipper.
right. Little nipper. All
Right.
right. See you next week.
week.
See you next week.
See you
Bye,
later.
bye, bye.
Ta-ra.
Do you have a dilemma? Maybe a burning question you're longing to be answered? Or you just want to get in touch with us? Why not drop us a voice note or a message over email at innthechat@gmail.com. That's 2 N's, not 1 N, because 1 N, it doesn't matter. innthechat@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.